Apologies for absence, please.
Sorry, Chair, if you just bear with us one moment, just want to confirm with my colleague Mark that we've started the stream, if that's okay.
The stream's just started.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, shall we go back to apologies then, please?
Yes, Chair, apologies have been received from councillors Thomas and Norman from Lantwick Major Town Council, also from Councillor Radcliffe from Awenny Community Council, Councillor Narrowsburg from Llanmaes Community Council, Councillor Parry from St Bride's Community Council. Were originally given, but I do believe Councillor Parry may have joined us, and also from Councillor Corey from St George's and St Bride's Super Ely, and finally Councillor Bosworth from Welsh St Donat's Community Council.
But we are quorate.
You are quorate, yes.
Excellent, thank you very much. Okay, if we could have a look at the minutes, please, of the meeting held on October the 10th of last year.
Sorry, Chair, just have my virtual hand up to give, just let you know that Councillor Christine Cave is on the way. She'll just be a few minutes late.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, back to the minutes then, please. If we could look at the minutes, am I happy? Are you happy for me to accept those as a true record, please?
I'm happy. I'm happy to second, Chair.
Thank you. Does anyone have any matters arising from those minutes? No? Okay, thank you very much. Declarations of interest, please. Do we have any of those? Anything declared to you, Amy, or anything that anybody wishes to make known to us now?
None to myself, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Any from the committee? No? Okay, let's move on then, please. So, South Wales Police Service, we have a verbal update, and I think it's Gareth. Yes, it is. It's Gareth Childs. Good evening. Welcome.
Good evening. Hope everyone's well. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, lovely. Not so far, pal. I'm just going to go through some of the incidents we're monitoring, some of the community tensions, which have been ongoing now for several months. I'm going to start, first of all, with two sites which we are monitoring tensions there, but it's low level of presence, and that's the East Camp at St Athens, which is housing displaced Afghanistans, and also the other site, Eagles Well in Lantwick Major. Again, that's housing some Ukrainian nationals at that site as well. Both sites, we've had limited incidents concerning the residents there, and no incidents of disorder or anything to cause us any escalation or any trouble at all. There have been some very, very low-level protests outside some of the camps. We tend to get one or two persons, and we've also had some drone activity from those persons. But again, it's been low-key. And there's been no escalation concerning those actual protests there. There is a meeting scheduled for the 6th of February concerning St Athens, which is going to take place at the gathering. That'll be run by the military. I'll be attending that meeting as well. And that meeting will be about, there is an extension to the camp there where they're going to be housing Afghanistan nationals there. I haven't got the precise date, but it's going to be into the summer. So from the information I've had. So a meeting, as I say, will take place on the 6th. Concerning the two sites, we are monitoring social media. We are monitoring community tensions. But at this moment in time, the tension remains low. But we are looking at it from a national perspective as well. Considering what's going on in various places throughout the world and the UK, but in terms of the Vale, the actual escalation and threat there is low at present. Just going to talk about now some incidents that have taken place throughout the Vale, which have caused us some concerns, some serious violence incidents. There are some incidents that have taken place, but I'm picking the top two, which have taken place in the last 3 to 4 months. The first one being in Barry, which happened on the 24th of November. This is a particularly sad and very concerning assault against a 12-year-old young girl committed by persons known to her, the offenders being 13 and 15. Both those persons the matter was reported to the police, and within an hour of the incident being reported to the police, both persons, the 13 and 15-year-old, were brought into custody, and they were later charged and remanded in police custody, and later presented before the court, where they've been bailed with strong conditions by the court. Now, an unusual assault concerning young persons. There's been no escalation concerning that, but we've been, certainly from a police perspective, we've been very present within the schools where some of the offenders come from, and the victim are being schooled. And I personally have been in to see the heads there, and we are doing some supportive work going forward with the schools to make sure that the pupils there are supported and the investigation is supported as we go forward. So a further Section 18 assault, a further GBH has taken place on the 14th of December. This is more the usual background concerning the strong assaults. It's drug related. It's happened in the Barry area as I said, on the 14th of December in Ramsey Road, and this was an attack between a drug feud, shall we say, where the offender has used a machete and has attacked another individual who sustained quite a serious injury to the Achilles tendon of his ankle, and also sustained other injuries to his upper body. But the main injury was to the Achilles ankle. The offender has been caught within a couple of days. He has been charged and he remains in custody, and that investigation is still live with the CID. And we're monitoring any sort of reprisals, any outcomes of that. But that is well gripped, and there's no further escalations concerning that matter. But a challenging incident. The incident was caught on CCTV, and quite a strong and well-gripped investigation by the CID. Okay, further incidents, some positive news that I'm going to tell you about some incidents where more sort of proactivity, where our office has been involved in good, productive work. Gavin Henson's pub in St Bride's Major, which is the Fox. There was a gentleman there. There was a number of complaints made from pubs in the vicinity of the Vale that cooking oil, which has been left out overnight, was being stolen, and they couldn't really get to the bottom of it. We did some investigative work, identified a car involved, and identified an individual from the London area. And then on, I think it was December, my team from the Vale, a couple of them parked up, and we had the offender on the motorway coming into the Vale area, and came to the Gavin Henson's pub, the Fox, and he was caught red-handed trying to steal the cooking oil there, which they can sell on the open market and make a bit of money from it. So that individual was arrested. Good productive work and proactive work, and he was charged with 5 offences considering other incidents he was involved with as well. I've recently attended last week the Penarth Town Council. I did tell them about an incident taking place where a fairly large quantity of cocaine was recovered on the 7th of January, where the offender, there was a police raid, and the offender tried to hide the drugs in a drain pipe just attached to the property. But he was caught, his phone evidence as well, charged and remanded, and placed before the Magistrates Court, the following day, where he's pleaded guilty. Very incriminating evidence found, and he is going to be sentenced next month now at some point in February, and should receive a strong custodial sentence. There have been some auto crime incidents that have taken place, mainly sort of in Barry. Bruce has also been hit with auto crime, and we have been investigating. We've done some productive work concerning 2 individuals who've recently been brought into custody, and they've been charged. And this is in the public domain now: a Stephen Dutton and a Daniel Franklin. We are still investigating other matters, which we believe, particularly Mr. Franklin's involved with. He remains on remand and being recalled to prison, and we'll be visiting him in prison and trying to collate some further evidence and seeing him again. So I'm hoping with those 2 individuals, in custody. They are sort of persons responsible for the recent spike we've had, particularly in the Barry area. And with those two in custody at the moment, hopefully in the forthcoming month, the order crime figures will go down. But it's a job for us to go and see him in prison to clear up some of the outstanding matters. Finally, we have been supporting the farmers throughout the autumn periods and recently, and this is an operation called Operation Waxbury, which will run now into February. And this concerns lamping, which is going on mainly involving persons from the travelling fraternity. When the farmers harvest their crops at the end of the summer, with a shallow ground, it leaves the grounds and the available to coarse hairing, which are referred to as lamping. And there's been a number of incidents where persons believed to be from the travelling fraternity have been trespassing on land of the farmers, causing damage to the land, causing incidents with livestock there. And on occasions as well, they've been threatening violence towards the farmers there. So in order to support our farming community, we have been running an operation all the way through the autumn period, and it's still ongoing at the moment, where when we get out and about, we stop around about 20 vehicles a night, and it's a bit of proactivity just to see we got out and about. And we have been successful in seizing vehicles in relation to that operation. So that remains ongoing, but it will be, it has reduced the problems significantly throughout the winter period, but it will be ongoing until mid-February, where we'll then start in autumn of this year. Okay, so that's about it from myself. I welcome any questions from the panel, please.
Thank you very much. That was very thorough, and it's really interesting to hear about, proactive policing rather than simply reactive, which I think probably makes you feel an awful lot better about the whole process. It's much more interesting and more effective. So thank you very much for that. I've got three hands up already. So Councillor Wilson, followed by Councillor Hodges, and then Councillor Sally Hanks, please. Councillor Wilson.
Evening, Mr. Wilson.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you very much for your report, Gareth. I thought it was very interesting, and I like to echo what the Chair said about being proactive. I think that's what the public like to see. They like to see policemen on the ground, PCSOs on the ground, going amongst the community, doing their work, and we really appreciate that as well, because it gives us to say, actually, we can see what you're doing, and we can say to the public, actually, this is what they're doing, and X, Y, and Z. And I think it's really important that the PCSOs on the ground trying to liaise as much with us as councillors, and also it's a two-way process as well. We got to liaise with them. So I know you've given us information from the town council on Penarth, but I think it'd be quite good if this was provided Vale-wide to help those councillors in the communities, especially in the Western Vale in particular, who don't have big populations, but I think our local contact is so helpful. And I think that's the way to go forward, I feel. So perhaps you could do that. And also, I also would like you to consider, I know it's not always easy, some PAT meetings as well, because often meetings with the community around their community centre or village hall or whatever, it's quite valuable. But I don't want it seen to be box ticking. I want to see, a good meeting, with a good turnout of the public and the police, and talk about some real issues on the ground. And I think that is important. And I'll finish, but thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Nick Hodges.
Thank you, Chair. Hello, Inspector. Thanks for the report. It's a simple one, really, and it's quite more up to date than some of the stuff you reported on there. The egging of buildings in Halton Road, Barry, recently, which has caused a bit of concern. Just wondering if you had any information you could share with us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
There's no particular information I can share with you. ASB Halton Road has always been an area where we do get ASB problems. It is patrolled regularly. We have a list of some of our offenders. They are young persons who regularly cause a bit of a nuisance of themselves there, not necessarily to damaging buildings or throwing eggs at buildings, but they've been a bit of a nuisance to the retailers there. I'm aware of various ASB incidents that have taken place there, but I'm not aware of any particular egging incidents that have taken place. That's not to say it hasn't been reported, but it hasn't been brought to my attention. I do deal with numerous matters. I cover the whole of the Vale, but specific incidents I can certainly look into. And if you've got offenders' names, young persons, no doubt, then I can look into that.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Sally Hanks.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Gareth. I just wanted to mention noisy cars racing up and down the Northern Access Road. I don't know if they do it in other parts of the Vale, but it's quite intimidating for elderly people living on their own at home, and it's pretty dangerous if you're caught up in it as well. I just wondered if it was a wider problem, and did you know about it? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Something we do get, so obviously the wider roads, we do get problems with speeding there on occasions and at various times. It's not something that stands out in the Vale in comparison to other areas of South Wales Police. However, it's something we do monitor. I'm obviously aware of some of the fatal accidents that we've had, and there is ongoing work. Not really my department, but it's a department of road traffic. They do operations of speed awareness, and they will target particular areas which have particular problems and particular problematic roads and traffic congestion there. They do run operations to target those areas.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Hatton. Councillor Hatton.
Could you press your activation button in the bottom centre for me, please, Councillor Hatton?
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
You loud and
Yes,
clear.
it's, sorry, it's not Councillor Hatton. It's Councillor Malcolm Phillips standing in for Councillor Hatton.
Okay, good evening.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I've just got two questions I'd like to ask Inspector Gareth Charles there. We're in Dinas Powys, and just wondering, first of all, what's happened to the PCOs that we were supposed to be allocated? I'm getting many sort of comments from our constituents that they don't see the PCSOs there. Can you give us an update on that, please?
Well, there are PCSOs, so they cover the whole of, together with Dinas Powys, the whole of the Penarth area, which involves Sully and Lavernock as well. It's a wide area that they cover, but also they will cover Landock and Dinas Powys as well. So it's a wide area they've got to get around. They should be present within the Dinas Powys area. I can certainly make sure that they are visiting more regularly. If there's particular problems in the area you want to bring to my attention that you feel would need investigating, by all means, you have my email. By all means, send me an email. I can get them to look at those problems, or generate some staff to go into the area of Dinas Powys.
Okay. And secondly, we had a couple of vehicle arson attacks in Dinas Powys. Could you give us an update on that, or where that's gone, please?
Well, concerning the arsons, I am aware of the arsons. It's been taken on by the CID at the moment. There remains a live investigation. There are some people in mind for it. I'm not going to share that with you because it remains a sensitive investigation at this moment in time. So it wouldn't be wise for me to share that information with you. But it is being investigated. We take the arsons, particularly of vehicles, particularly seriously, particularly when they're next to homes. And as we know, an arson, it can only, if you burn a car, if you torch a car, then it can easily go onto a building if it's nearby as well. So it does present a risk and danger to the public. We did have a series of arsons going back around about a year ago in Barry overnight, where there was round about 9 or so vehicles which were torched overnight. One individual was arrested in relation to that, brought into custody, where he eventually was placed out on police bail. But we did go to the CBS with it, and they were, unfortunately, we had him on camera. but there were some evidential difficulties in putting a case together. The continuity of it, unfortunately, had some holes in it, and we weren't able to prosecute him. But we are doing everything we can. We do take it very seriously, the arsons, and we'll do a comprehensive investigation, looking at forensic opportunities, looking at the house-to-house inquiries and CCTV inquiries to go forward. But the matter is being investigated at this moment in time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Summers.
And thank you, Gareth, for the report. The farming community in my area in the Western Vale really appreciate the efforts you're putting into on the lamping side of things, and it, of course, also with.
Sorry, Councillor Summers, you've come off screen. Would you mind coming back on, please? Thank you.
Sorry. I'd also like to just reinforce Councillor Wilson's comments about the attendance of PCSOs at community and town council meetings. It is really useful. We get regular reports from you, and up until comparatively recently, we had really regular attendance from our local PCO at the Pen Klein community.
Okay, well, that's something I'll take on board. We are currently recruiting PCSOs at the moment, not in great numbers, but there's also been funding which has been taken from us from the Welsh Government, and there is a situation where our numbers have been reduced, but we still have resources, and we still will make sure that those PCSOs are proactive and attend the council meetings. But the one you've mentioned in Pen Klein, I'll get that sorted for you.
Thank you. Certainly appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Haynes. We can't hear you.
Haynes, I'm afraid we can't hear your audio at the moment. Have you had a headset connected at all? Would you mind coming out of the meeting and closing your browser window and rejoining for us?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Right, sorry, my error. You mentioned drones in St Athan, and I assume you didn't mean there was drones over St Athan, because obviously that would be a criminal offence, it being an active runway on the site. Also, I would like to remind you that it's St Athan, not Athens. That's a minor thing. But I just wondered if there was some clarification on the drones.
Well, it's a report I've had back from my sergeant there who works the area. I don't think the drones are flying over the military sites at all. It's just there were protesters, and there were a drone activated nearby. But that's something that they've dealt with very quickly, and it hasn't been an escalating problem concerning the drones at all. But it's been brought to my attention that on one of the protests there, it was accompanied by a drone, but it was quickly dealt with.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillor Perry.
Hi, good evening, Gareth. Yeah, I've got a quick question. We've been put in sort of an impossible situation by Vale of Glamorgan Development, which is too big for where it is, and we've got overspill of traffic. So there's no good solution at the moment, but we've got a problem with footway parking. So I'm getting complaints from residents about footway parking. At the same time, the police are encouraging people to park on the footway, and then they're causing obstruction, which means I then get more complaints. Now, the Welsh Government's had a task force which reported in 2023 with a recommendation, in some cases at least, to ban footway parking in Wales. So whilst we've got the Legislative Senate looking at banning footway parking, we've got the police that in some ways encouraging it to keep traffic flows. it's a totally impossible situation. But should we, in light of legislation which has been delayed now for 2 years for various reasons, should we be encouraging people to put a wheel or two wheels on the footway, which then causes conflict with people who've got impaired vision, impaired mobility, impaired cognitive function, and impaired hearing? Should we sort of preempt the introduction of legislation, which might be now be this year, and instead of it putting people on the footway, discourage it and try and get people, at least on the main roads like the A48, onto the road? It is difficult. I've seen the situation, but I'm just wondering what your thoughts are this evening.
Well, parking on the footway, is that around schools, or is it in a particular area? Exactly where is the issue?
Well, the issue we've got at the moment is in St Nicholas on the A48 around school times, because the school got enlarged slightly. We've got additional traffic. So we had a problem 3 years ago. Now with a new slightly enlarged school with no minibus, we've got perhaps 15, 20 more cars turning up in the afternoon, and you'll see cones throughout the village. Just there's a temporary measure. We're not sure how long temporary is. And then trying to get people to park on the A48 on the road means that lorries come through at 30 miles an hour within a couple of feet of them. So then they move onto the footway to get away from the vehicles that close past them at speed. But then I've got residents who try to walk their dogs or walk to the school, or, just out for a country walk, complaining then that the footway is obstructed. So it's just conflict on every level there, really.
Well, I think you're referring to the issue was mainly in relation to school times, picking up and dropping off first thing in the morning and picking up later on. This seems to be the issue. I'm aware of it. We do patrol the area. Every school, unfortunately, has that sort of situation where parents will turn up and they will park as close as they can to the school on occasions, and it's educating parents and via the school, via the headmaster, getting newsletters out. Yes, we can place PCSOs in the area to try and stop people parking in areas where we deem is causing an obstruction, or it presents a sort of a bit of a hazard for other persons walking past. It's really a sort of a work in practice. Every school will have this problem, and it's a work in practice between the head of the school, primary or secondary school, the police, and also local sort of knowledge of getting that word out to the parents to be more responsible in the way they're parking. That's something I think we're looking at anyway, but it's not a magic answer to it. Yes, persistent offenders, persistent vehicles that are parked in what's deemed to be a dangerous manner, then our PCSOs, they can issue tickets, and they've done that throughout the Vale on occasions where there's been a persistent offender who's been obstructing the highway or causing or positioning their vehicle in sort of a hazardous way that can present a danger to other persons. They can issue tickets there, but it's really it's something working with the school, getting more awareness out there to the parents and asking them to park and behave a bit more responsibly, even if they have to park a distance away from the school. In terms of some remedy to resolve it, it's really a highways matter. I'm not aware that the school have reported incidents which have caused injury to anyone, or there's been escalation amongst parents or drivers coming past. It's something we have a look at together with every school. It's we are visible, can't be visible every day at every school, but it is a problem that we have in all schools throughout the Vale. So it's just working in partnership with the school there, with the heads, and getting our PCSOs to patrol the area as well.
Yeah, because have you been given any sort of forewarning as to legislation on footway parking? Because we're
No,
kind of in the dark here.
To be honest with you, my role is more. It's really as a highways matter. That is a situation which will be dealt with by the highways department, as opposed to local police. I'm more sort of crime orientated, more crime focused, really, rather than those particular issues. It's really an issue for the highways department. But that would be where there's incidents of particular danger, particular escalated incidents where they need to do something sooner rather than later for the remedy to control the area better.
Yeah, and just
Okay, thank you very much. Does anybody else have a question that they'd like to ask? No? Okay, thank you very much, Gareth. You will know that we consider these. Sorry, is there something wrong, Mr. Perry?
yeah, just very quickly. I could just ask a second question, just very quickly, and it's following with traffic matters. We do get a number of collisions at Sycamore Cross, and there was another one quite serious yesterday involving a motorcycle which went through a red light, which is something that residents have complained about on a number of occasions, because what happens is everything goes to red, and then after a couple of minutes a green filter comes on and people go away. And what happened yesterday happened just before Christmas as well, where there was a two-car collision, and on this occasion there was a quite serious injury to a person travelling on a motorcycle who saw the green filter come on, carry straight on towards Cowbridge. And other people in the call probably experienced this. You head towards Cowbridge, you see the green filter, and it inclines you to accelerate. And the motorcyclist did this, and the car turning right out of 5 Mile Lane, or what is known as 5 Mile Lane, they then collided, and the person on the motorcycle was quite badly injured yesterday. And I'm just wondering if the police might want to comment. It's obviously a highways matter primarily, but there is also road safety there with the sequencing of those traffic signals.
The sequence of the road traffic signals, the actual investigation, the primacy of that will be with the road traffic unit of South Wales Police. I really only have knowledge of very, very serious accidents where mainly fatals. I get involved in them with the community aspect of that. But in terms of giving you knowledge as to what's happening with that investigation, it'll be dealt with by the road traffic police unit of South Wales Police. And if there are particular problems that they feel are causing a danger or safety to the public and community there, then they can make representations to the Highways Department. But nothing's been brought to my attention concerning that particular incident. We do unfortunately have, the Vale is a large area, a huge area, and we do unfortunately have accidents in many areas. But I'm not aware of a particular escalating problem in the area you've mentioned there.
Okay, thank you very much. Talk to you again.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Again, thank you, Gareth, for the report. I know from speaking to other community councillors and town councillors how much they value the opportunity to listen to what you've got to say and to ask you questions. So thank you very much again. Unless there's something you want to say to us, don't feel you need to hang on to the bitter end.
No, well, it's my boy's birthday at the moment, so I'm going to go and get some cake now. So I've been putting that off. So I'll leave you be if I can.
Lovely. Thank you very much again.
Thanks,
thank you. Okay, can we move on to item 5, which is South Wales Fire and Rescue Service? Have we had a chance for somebody to come on and speak?
Hello, Councillor Birch. Yes, I was just going to say that Martin O'Keefe has kindly joined us. Can I just check though, please, because Councillor Haynes has come onto screen. Can I just check what that's regarding?
Yeah.
Oh, he's come off. If I may, Chair, just before Martin starts, Councillor Bonnar from Llanfair Community Council was planning to attend this evening and to ask if we could include her belated apologies for the last meeting on the previous minutes. I've noted that obviously she's not joined us this evening, so are yourself and Councillor Wilson happy to still second the minutes subject to her apologies being provided?
Of course.
Is that okay with
Yes,
yourself,
and
Councillor Wilson?
I agree. That's fine.
Thank you both. Thank you.
Councillor Cave, I've seen that you're there. I saw you on the list, so you'll be recorded as being present, if that's what you were going to ask. Yep. Okay, thank you. All right, good evening. So, Martin O'Keefe, I'm sorry, I don't know what your rank is, but thank you very much for attending this evening, and we look forward to hearing what you have to say. Take it away.
Good evening. Thank you very much. I'm Martin O'Keefe. I'm the Group Manager for Operations for Bridgend and the Vale of Glamorgan. So I've got some data to go through with you this evening. So ultimately, as Fire and Rescue Service, we attend a number of different incident types, as you're aware. During the current financial year within the Vale of Glamorgan, we've attended 259 fire-related incidents. 79 of these were in Q3. Unfortunately, this is an 8% increase over the same period last year, and I'll go into some of the detail of why we feel that might be later in the report. So of these, services attended 106 accidental non-domestic fires in the Vale so far this year. These largely consist of accidental grass and refuse fires, which is actually a decrease of this fire type of 17% over the previous year, which is hugely positive. As a service, we undertake a large amount of community safety work, trying to educate young people, citing arson boards, working with partner agencies, local authorities and police forces to try and reduce these types of fires, which has obviously seen some positive impacts here. However, we do also have to comment on the fact we've had a particularly wet summer, which has undoubtedly has a positive impact on these figures as well. Additionally, during this period, we've attended 36 accidental domestic fires within the Vale of Glamorgan. 16 of these were during Q3. That's again a positive decrease of 14% over the previous year, which as you'll agree, is quite a positive figure. Of these incidents across the service area, 59% of these were accidental dwelling fires started within the kitchen area, with cooking the most common cause, which accounted for 35% of all accidental domestic dwelling fires. That's actually slightly below the UK average related to that. We've also seen a decrease in the number of lithium-ion battery fires we've attended this financial year. We've decreased from 15 last year to 9 this year, which again is really positive, particularly as this is an emerging technology. It continues to be an emerging risk. The service is undertaking quite a lot of research and activity to educate young people, particularly around the risks posed by these technologies with mobile phones, laptops, e-scooters and things of that nature. We continue to try and reduce these accidental domestic dwelling fires through our community safety partnership working, and our community safety teams undertake home fire safety checks where we offer advice, fit smoke alarms and give people general fire safety advice as well as other things. Data indicates the importance of these measures, where actually if you look across the service area, 45% of all accidental dwelling fires where an alarm system was present required no firefighting action from us at all. So ultimately the alarm system is activated, let the residents know, and they've been able to either turn off a cooker if it's as simple as that, or evacuate the property. That's opposed to 38% of incidents where no no alarm system were present. We had to undertake firefighting action. Where an alarm system was present, the damage was confined to the room of origin of the fire on 89% of occasions, compared to 79% of the time when no alarm was present. So we can clearly see the positive impact that smoke alarms have, and our campaigns of fitting these smoke alarms have on the community. Moving on to deliberate fires, sadly we have seen quite a significant increase in the number of deliberate fires that we've had across this financial year across the Vale of Glamorgan area, with 153 deliberate fires attended within the Vale area, which is a 37% increase. Colleagues from police previously commented about the spate and car fires, but however the most significant which have been the most significant increase that we've seen as a service. We've also had an increase in deliberate refuse fires. We've worked closely with partner agencies to reduce this through a number of arson awareness interventions, which have included specific sessions that we've held with youth in school, where we've been made aware of potential issues. We run youth intervention programs where we have potential fire setters that we're made aware of, and in addition to that, we're involved in a number of partnership working groups, such as the CCTV group, with an aim to try and combat these deliberate fire types across the area. Across the service area, we have seen that 88% of those deliberate refuse fires consist of loose refuse, whilst 20% are aligned to fly tipping that has been deliberately set alight. When we are made aware of fly tipping, we do work with local authorities to try to have the sites removed. And general refuse fires have also increased within this period as well. What we have seen is quite a significant decrease in grass fires. Grass fires have decreased by 63% compared to the same period last year. Now, again, this is likely to be largely contributed to the wet summer that we've had this period compared to the year before. The largest area of concern for us, though, at the moment does relate to vehicle arsons. We have seen a quite a spike in the number of car fires that we've had. They're often also linked to antisocial behaviour. We've seen 133% increase across the service area over the same period in the previous year. In December alone, we attended 4 deliberate car fires in the Vale area alone. We are working closely with police, and as my colleague from the police force said, investigations are ongoing, seeking any links to individuals related to these fire types. Our fire investigation officers are working very closely with the police. We're also been doing some community liaison around sites of these fires, which included some target hardening at certain sites where it was believed that they were potentially targeted at individuals. So a target hardening program essentially gives us the ability to fit arson-proof letterboxes, give people additional fire safety information, and use some fire retardant spray where we feel that someone may be at specific risk of arson. And again, that's done in very close cooperation with colleagues in the police force as well. Another incident type that we have attended over this period is RTCs. So the service has attended 76 road traffic collisions within the Vale area during this financial year. 26 of these occurred during Q3, which is a 17% increase over the previous financial year. As a councillor commented earlier, this is also sadly it resulted in some fatalities and significant injury. However, across the service area, we have identified a decrease in the number of RTC-related injuries of 18%, which is positive. We do continue to work closely with South Wales Police. We're delivering a number of options programs, which includes the 20 and 30 mile an hour options program and seatbelt options program. Essentially, this enables the police to pull over offenders who are breaking the 20 mile an hour speed limit, but are under the 30 mile an hour threshold, giving them the choice of taking a fine and penalty points on their license, or coming into the fire station and undertaking some education around speed awareness and the dangers of not wearing seatbelts. What we have seen is quite a successful campaign in that regard, and it has been quite well received. We've certainly felt that those involved have left the station with a lot more awareness and a lot more understanding of the dangers involved in speeding, and hopefully we'll start to see that impact in figures. In addition to that, we deliver domino presentations for young people around the dangers of speeding and road safety. And it is also a standing agenda item on our school visits as well. So we're trying to target the youth and teach them about the dangers of using the road traffic network and behaving appropriately whilst they are. We also attend a number of special service calls as a service. So we have seen a significant increase in the number of these calls across the Vale area, which has included a 17% increase over the previous period. Within those, water rescues have increased by 34% across the service area. A large number of these are related to persons in distress, either threatening or attempting to enter the water or deliberately entering the water. And we've carried out a number of rescues of this type in the recent period. Off the back of this, as a service, we've upgraded our water rescue response within Cardiff Bay area with an improved, much more powerful boat that can get us to those problem areas on the River Taff and around Cardiff Bay a great deal quicker than we could previously, which is a real positive. As I'm sure you're aware, with the weather and the number of named storms that we've had this year, we've, as expected, have seen quite a large increase in flooding-related incidents across the service area. 60% of an increase occurred during Q3, and that was largely due to the number of named storms that we've had. Obviously, that's a future risk for the fire and rescue sector, so we are continuing to monitor this and amending our response accordingly. We've also seen quite a sharp increase in medical response over the period. We've had 25 medical assistance calls. 96% of these were attended during the Q2 and Q3 period. Our crews are trained in emergency trauma care, and on a number of occasions we've assisted ambulance service colleagues in the care of patients. We've also seen quite an increase in the number of bariatric responses that we've had. So that's increased to 17 so far this year within the Vale area. It's obviously quite an area of concern for us, particularly when we talk about people's health and well-being, and this is often an indication of that. So we are also undertaking activity with partner agencies to try to reduce this burden as much as we can. Moving on to false alarms. So currently up to this point, false alarms account for 31% of all incidents attended by the service. So automatic fire alarm systems will sound in a building, and the fire service will automatically respond to those. As you can imagine, that's quite a significant burden on the service. So off the back of that, we've now changed our response to automatic fire alarms. As of the 6th of January, we're now implementing a new model where we will only attend properties that are either residential properties, sheltered accommodation, education buildings, and heritage buildings in response to automatic fire alarms. Obviously, if an automatic fire alarm actuates and a responsible person then checks and identifies any kind of risk, then we would of course attend. Working with our partners within the NHS Wales, we've amended their time for the implementation of this to the 7th of April for all hospital sites. This is to give our partners the ability and the time to be able to update their procedures across all of their sites. A large area of work for the Fire and Rescue Service is around community safety, whether that be through education, engagement, or options campaigns, as I've already discussed. So in addition to responding to incidents, we continue to work with our partners to deliver a large amount of prevention and protection activity across the South Wales area, including the Vale of Glamorgan. So within the Vale, we've undertaken 1,056 home fire safety checks this year, which is a 6% increase on the previous period. We certainly work towards prevention is far better than response, and these referrals are largely from partner agencies where we target the most vulnerable people in society. We offer fire safety advice, road safety advice, water safety advice, and fit smoke alarms. And as I've already discussed, that they are hugely important in saving lives in the event of a fire. We've also visited 63 schools across the Vale area, delivering fire, road and water safety messaging, as well as attending various community events, supporting our partners in delivering of this message. As I'm sure you're aware, Q3 has been a particularly interesting and busy period for South Wales Fire and Rescue Service since the appointment of our new Chief Fire Officer, Air Vice Marshal Finn Monaghan, and the delivery of our programme of change. We've also recently been inspected by Her Majesty's Fire and Rescue Inspectorate, so it's been a particularly busy period. Locally within the Vale, we're continuing with our community works. We have now started working with our partners to undertake the development of our community garden in Cowbridge at the fire station. So we identified, working with partner agencies, that we had a piece of land adjoining the fire station that we didn't use. So we've now turning this into a community sensory garden so that community can benefit from our estate as well. And we continue to seek out opportunities to improve the lives and well-being of people across the Vale as much as we can. I welcome any questions. Thank you, Councillor.
Hello, Chair. Are you able to come onto screen, please?
Sorry. Right, thank you very much for that. That was very thorough. Now, Keith Hatton is actually Malcolm Phillips. So do you want to ask your question, please?
Yes, please, Martin. Thank you, Chair. Recently, we had a house fire in Dinas Powys on the 7th of January. And I've had reports, and I don't know if you can comment on an individual basis, but there were some reports of concerns that when the fire appliances attended at the scene, one fire appliance attended from Penarth and two others from Cardiff Central, they were having difficulty getting water from the hydrants. So that's a bit of a concern for me, because we know that we've had problems with the domestic supply and from drainage, normal drainage in the area from the contractors building the estate. I don't know if you can comment on that, please.
Thank you, Councillor. I don't have any information related specifically to that incident. However, we carry a large amount of water on our appliances. Each appliance carries 1,700 litres of water, and we do also have a number of other options available to us. Whilst we do plan on utilising hydrants, we have a number of systems in place for those rare occasions where that isn't possible. What I will do, and I am aware that if we do come across water supplies that are inadequate or hydrants that fail, we do, of course, report them straight away and get the relevant actions taken to put those back online. But I will take that away as an action and find out more about that specific incident and just make sure that everything's been followed up as it should.
Okay, thank you. What I would say that for the prompt response that the fire service did attend, it saved the adjoining properties in the block. There was considerable damage to the actual property involved, but say the prompt action by your officers and all that attended, particularly the ones from Penarth, which were the first appliance to attend there within about 5 or 6 minutes, I believe it was, from the call, dealt with it and saved, what could have been a disaster. So thanks for that.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillor Mark Wilson.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you very much for your presentation, Martin. Couple of things, right? First of all, I understand that there is going to be a development at Penarth Fire Station. I just wonder if you've got an update regarding that. I'm one of the local ward members in that area, and obviously, I am party to some of what you've done, but not all of it. So I wonder where we are in terms of that. And secondly, I know we had very serious fires in America, didn't we? Especially in Los Angeles area. And one of the issues that came out of that, and it was first what Councillor Phillips said, is about fire hydrants. And clearly there seemed to be lots of anecdotal evidence there that some of the fire hydrants weren't working, or people have real problems getting access to them. The question I'm going to ask is, how often are they checked? Not just checked physically, but also checked for pressure as well.
Thank you, Councillor. So to answer your first question with regards to Penarth Fire Station, we have now identified an alternative site for the decant of the crew from the station so that Penarth will maintain its fire cover during the build process. I think the actual start date has been delayed. I think there was some planning queries around the site, which I believe are now in the process of being resolved. So that is pending a go live date very soon. I'm afraid I don't have the actual date available, but it is imminent that we will start the development works of that station. I know there have been some concerns around the development of the station and around what the station will hold. So there are currently no plans to change the crewing model at the station or add additional appliances than we already have there at the moment. But the facilities, as I'm sure you're aware, are quite dated. It's a relatively old station, so we're looking to upgrade the current facilities we have there. In answer to your second question, we have hydrant inspectors that go out and check hydrants. They check pressure and flow of the hydrants and operation. There are fluctuations in water pressure at different times of day, depending on water usage from Welsh Water customers. We do have a number of Bowser appliances within the South Wales area, particularly in our urban areas. We also have high volume pumps. So whilst hydrants are important for us, we are certainly well versed in contingency measures on those occasions where we don't have hydrants. And as I said, our appliances themselves carry between 13 and 700 litres, 1,700 litres of water each fire appliance, plus the availability of Bowsers to deal with those fires.
Can I just come in back, Chair, if that's okay? Just on your first question, you said about decamping it. I mean, I think a lot of us will be interested to see where you're going to decamp it and how that's going to work. But perhaps, is it possible you could send emails to Amy, who's our democratic officer, just for an update? I think that'd be useful.
Absolutely, Councillor. I can, if you would like me to find the decamp venue now, I do have it in a file somewhere. But if it's more suitable, I can send it to Amy and get that shared out.
Happy for you to send it to Amy.
Thank you.
Lovely, thank you. Councillor Perry.
Am I coming? Here I am. Hi, good evening, Martin. Thanks for your very thorough report today. In St Nicholas, in the past few months, we've had quite a number of road traffic collisions, which I mentioned earlier. We had a car flip in a lane. We had the fatal crash at the bus stop. And then just on Friday, we had a 3-car shunt, someone driving to a traffic island and someone else knock a lamppost over. Some of them are speed related, some are not. So I was quite interested to hear about you being, I guess that it's the police that identify the people travelling between 20 and 30 rather than the fire service, and then they refer them to you. But I think that's something that the police, the fire service has offered for a very long time, but some things we don't sort of hear about at these meetings is the role that the fire brigade played in road traffic collisions and awareness of the dangers of travelling without due care and attention, driving recklessly or at excessive speeds. So I thank you for bringing that to our attention. And do you have any sort of figures on the number of people that you have referred in the Vale of Glamorgan?
Thank you, Councillor. I'm afraid I don't have the exact figures with me at the moment, but I can certainly get those and get those shared with you via Amy again, if that's suitable for you at the moment. What I would say, I've recently joined South Wales Fire and Rescue Service from another fire and rescue service in Berkshire. I've coming in having attended hundreds of road traffic collisions across my career. I think this is a really refreshing approach that the service has taken here, that actually has a real impact on people and makes them see the dangers of speeding firsthand from responders who, you know, have spent their careers dealing with the aftermath of these tragic incidents. So I will certainly get those figures and get those shared with you as soon as I can.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Does anybody else have a question, please? No? Well, thank you very much for that. That was very thorough and detailed. I would be grateful if you would send those figures to us. I mean, I can see you were reading off a screen, so you must obviously have them in some sort of report. So if you could forward that to Amy, we'd be very grateful, because most of us come from town and community councils, and we'd like to be able to disseminate that information out to our councils, you know, on a regular basis. That would be very helpful. Thank you very much. And I hope that wasn't too much of a baptism of fire.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll see you in 3 months then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, item 6 then, please. Repeal.
I'm sorry, Chair, you've just come off screen.
Is that better? Right, okay, so item 6, nomination of representatives from town and community councils for the Public Services Board. Report of the Chief Executive, please. And I think
Good evening, Chair. I thought it was something I said, Councillor Birch. Good evening, committee. Thank you very much for taking this report this evening. This is a follow-on report from the report that your committee considered in October of 2024, when we were seeking the nomination or reappointment of a representative to the Public Services Board from the Town and Community Councils sector. Just by way of brief reminder of the background, the Wellbeing of Future Generations Act came into force in April of 2015. As part of that act, it formally established statutory boards that are called Public Services Boards, or PSBs, and they exist in each local authority area across Wales. In May of 2023, the PSB in the Vale published its latest 5-year plan for improving the wellbeing across the Vale. It sets 3 wellbeing objectives and a series of priority work streams to tackle the nature and climate emergencies, focusing work on areas that experience higher levels of deprivation in the Vale, and also to progress the proposals to become an age-friendly Vale as well. So the Vale PSB comprises a range of different members, statutory members, invited participants and other partners. All organisations, irrespective of their membership type, if you like, have a single vote if it's ever required at the PSB. And the report that you've got this evening, committee, describes which organisations fall into each of those categories of membership. Town and community councils are classed as other key partners by the legislation. The PSB is required to engage with key partners who've got a material interest in the well-being of an area, and clearly town and community councils have got an important role in that regard. So the report this evening is, as I say, a continuation of the conversation that you had as a committee in order to ensure that we continue the effective involvement of town and community councils with the Vale PSB. In addition to the PSB meetings, there's a range of opportunities for town and community councils to get involved in the work of the PSB, most notably through the regular town and community council exchange meetings. Paragraph 2.8 of your report this evening, committee, outlines the topics that have been covered across the range of wellbeing objectives by those exchange meetings. And I know that feedback from both PSB colleagues and also town and community councils has been positive in response to those having been established. So back in October of 2024, we brought a report to request that the committee either reappoints your existing representative, Councillor Shirley Hodges from Barry Town Council, or to nominate a new representative to join the PSB for a 2-year term. At your committee, you resolved that a request should go back to the PSB in order to ask that 2 representatives from town and community councils should be nominated to represent both town councils and 1 for community councils. And that in the meantime, the Councillor Hodges from Barry Town Council should remain your representative on the PSB. So in December of 2024, the PSB considered that request from the committee for there to be 2 representatives. There was quite extensive discussion, and following that discussion, it was agreed that for parity with representation from other sectors, so for example, the third sector, that the invitation would be reconfirmed as being for 1 representative from town and community councils. And it was recognised that the PSB needed to continue the importance of those exchange meetings with town and community councils, so that all town and community councils have got the opportunity to discuss relevant issues. So this report this evening, Chair, is being brought forward to request that your committee appoint 1 representative to sit on the PSB for a period of up to 2 years. I did make sure that the PSB were aware that committee had discussed whether a shorter period of representation would be appropriate if you judge that to be the case. The PSB was content that if you wanted to nominate for less than the 2-year term, that would be fine. But equally, if you wanted to nominate for 2 years, as has been the case in the past, that was fine as well. So that's a brief overview, and happy to take any questions.
No, take my hand down. Right, thank you very much. Okay, I've got points of my own I'd like to make, but let's bring other people in first, please. So Councillor Cave.
Hello, Chair.
Hello.
The point I wanted to make was obviously at the original meeting in October. I just wanted to reiterate what that point was. And that was that we were being asked to elect, as you suggest, another member for another term of 2 years. And my point was that the members in the past often come from town councils, and we were seeking to have some representation from community councils. And I think it was resolved that we would go back and request for one of both, and that's what you've done. So I guess we're back at the original discussion, suggesting that maybe, as they won't allow us to have one from both a town and a community council, that what it would be fair to do is to rotate them. So in the last 2 years, we've had somebody from town council. So maybe this year what we need is a 2-year term of somebody from a community council.
Yes, that is one of the points I was going to make. It seems fair to me to rotate it between a town council and a community council every 2 years. I mean, I think the fact they only meet 4 times in 1 year means that probably rotating every year means people won't really have a chance to get to grips with what the PSB actually does. So I think a term of 2 years alternating would make more sense. Right, Councillor Anne Asbury, please.
Thank you. I would like to nominate Councillor Shirley Hodges to continue with her role representing us on the Public Services Board. As it says in the report, Councillor Shirley Hodges has been a very active participant in the work of the PSB, attending meetings of the PSB's Town and Community Council Exchange meetings, and contributing to the drafting of the Wellbeing Plan. I think it would make sense for Councillor Shirley Hodges to continue her good work and maintain continuity in the post. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Nick Hodges.
Thank you, Chair. I'm happy to second that nomination for Councillor Shirley Hodges. I think the report sets out quite clearly that she's been exemplary in her participation, and I think the officers are tending to agree with that as well. So I'm happy to second.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Wilson.
I would like to nominate Councillor Conway Hawkins. I think Conway, I know, is a very hard-working member of the community in Wick. He has done a sterling service, and I'd like to fully support him.
Right, okay. I'm wondering, Tom, do you want to come in here? No, sorry, I'm going to bring Sandra in and then go back to Tom if there's no other points. Councillor Perks.
Sorry, I'd like to second Councillor Wilson's proposal.
Right, okay, thank you. So, Tom, do you want to come in?
Just on one point, actually, Chair, just to clarify that the PSB meets on 5 occasions each year rather than 4. But otherwise, all of the discussion this evening is consistent with what your committee asked for previously and what the PSB have asked. So yeah, it's over to you for a decision in terms of the nomination that you'd like to make.
Okay, thank you very much. Right, Councillor Cave, I'm going to ask you if you were putting forward a motion that we should be alternating between town and community councils every 2 years. Was that an official motion?
Yes, that was a motion, Chair.
Okay,
and I
thank you.
think you'd possibly seconded that motion in your agreement.
Yeah, I'm just checking that you actually wanted to put it forward as a motion. Right, okay, so that is an official motion that we, before we think about nominations, that we alternate, that I hope Amy's keeping up with me, alternate between town and community councils every 2 years. Okay, do you think we could vote on that, please?
Can I make an amendment to that motion?
Yes.
I'd like to make an amendment so that the first rotation starts with a community councillor.
Right.
So we start with community councillor, then followed by a town councillor.
Okay, let's start with the principle of the alternation first, please. Okay, could we vote on that, please?
Yes,
Amy,
absolutely.
you're obviously aware of who can and can't vote in these circumstances. So, would you like to take the vote then, please?
So my colleague Mark will kindly start the vote. So you're voting on the motion raised by Councillor Cave. And seconded by...
Sorry, Councillor Hodges.
Sorry, I thought we'd be taking the motions in order they were put.
Yeah, but we can't take the motion on who we're going to send until we've taken the motion about whether or not we're going to alternate between town and community councils.
I think you can.
I think it would make more sense to find out whether we're going to do the alternating first.
I would agree with that, Chair, because if you were to take a vote on the nomination, people may be changing their vote based on the premise of how they felt with regards to the community council or in terms of the rotation.
Yes. Okay, so
it's your call, Chair, what you wish to do in that circumstance. Are you happy to go with take a vote on the rotational basis first, and then we can take nominations?
yes, please.
Okay. Okay then, so my colleague Mark is setting up the vote for you now, so that the vote will be started shortly. So we're voting on the motion whether to rotate town and community councillors on a 2-yearly basis. Obviously Councillor Wilson made an amendment, but that wasn't seconded. So we're not dealing with that amendment at the moment. It's just the case of whether the committee are for, against or abstain on the basis of the position being covered on a rotational basis between town and community council representative.
Yes, please.
Okay. So Mark, if you could start that vote for me, please, if it hasn't already.
It started, Chair.
Thank you, Mark. If you could let us know when all votes are cast, please, Mark.
Currently have 15 votes in total, Amy.
Thank you, Mark. How many to go? Have all the votes in, Mark?
I believe so, Amy.
Okay,
thank you. Thank you. If you could, are you happy to stop the vote then, Chair?
Yes.
Okay, Chair, the vote should be, results should be displayed on your screen currently.
Okay, thank you very much. So you can all see the results. So we'll be alternating every 2 years between town and community councillors. Thank you. If we could move on to the next point, which is we have 2 nominations. So we have 2 nominations. One is for Councillor Hodges, who is a town councillor, and the other nomination is Councillor.
I'd like to make a challenge because I was concerned about the number of people that voted. It seems to be quite high because my understanding is only Vale Glamorgan Council representatives can actually vote, not town and community councils votes.
That is correct. So my colleague Mark has taken a vote from all attendees this evening because the town and community council representatives are entitled to a show of hands. However, the vote count is through the elected members. So my colleague Mark has monitored the elected member votes to see if that's carried, and that's reflective of the vote the outcome that you've just seen. So there is an elected member vote carried. So we are monitoring that through every vote this evening. If there is any discrepancy, we will let you know. But that is carried.
Right. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so we've got 2 nominations.
I think Councillor Perry wants to come in, Chair.
Councillor Perry?
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Yeah, I just want to echo what Mark said because I didn't vote then because I know I haven't got a vote. So that was a little bit confusing. So if you could, because we had the thing come up on the screen, but we should have been informed that we should have been voting, but it wouldn't count to the actual outcome. If you could
With
do that in
respect,
future.
Councillor Perry, within your role as a town and community council member and the fact that you are twin-hatted, you should be aware of that fact in relation to this committee.
Yeah, I was, but some people wouldn't have been, and how it was set up. So I knew I couldn't vote, so I didn't vote. But then I realised I could have voted, but I didn't vote because I knew I couldn't vote. That was the
Okay,
problem.
well, that vote has now passed, I'm afraid. So we'll need to move on to the next, and you'll need to vote in your knowledge of what you are now aware of.
Right. Okay. Thank you. So we have 2 nominations at the moment. The first is
Excuse me,
for
Councillor Cave wants to
Councillor
come in
Cave.
now.
I apologise.
Sorry, Chair. I do have my hand raised because now we've taken the motion and it's gone forward. I would like to nominate Carl Hardy from Colwinston Community Council.
Right. Okay. Do we have a seconder for that, please?
Is that second? Okay.
Is that seconded, please? No, that hasn't been seconded. So we're back to 2.
Councillor Conway is indicating, Chair. I'm not sure if that's...
okay, I'm not seeing the hand.
Yes, if you go back to the list tab, Chair, you'll be able to see the hands being raised. So above where the vote was taking, the list tab there.
Right.
So Councillor
okay,
Hawkins, were you seconding?
Yes, Councillor Hawkins. Councillor Hawkins? You're on mute.
I'd be happy to second Councillor Cave's motion. Having read the paper, I haven't looked to see whether the meetings take place at a time or when I'm able to attend. My nomination was a surprise. Thank you.
So are you saying that you wish to withdraw?
Yes, please.
Right. Okay. So you are seconding Carl Hardy's nomination.
Yes. Yes.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. So we now have 2. Does anybody else wish to speak, please? Right, Conway. Thank you very much. So you take your hand down then. So we're now down to Councillor Hodges from Barry Town Council and Councillor Carl Hardy from Colwinston Community Council, both of whom have been proposed and seconded. And if there's nothing else, can we go to a vote on that, please?
Sorry, can I just double check? Are we voting individually or as a pair? Sorry, can I just double check?
Right, either or. That's entirely up to you how you want to organise it. Councillor Hodges. You're on mute.
The committee decided they wanted a community councillor. I'm a town councillor. Therefore, I would assume that my nomination cannot go forward. So we've only got one nomination.
So far, Councillor Hodges, they have just agreed to rotate the membership. But they haven't actually voted. The committee has not decided exclusively to go for a community councillor at this time. They've just voted on to rotate on a biannual basis. So it's still possible to receive nominations for a town councillor at this time, but there is only now 2 nominations on the table, which is for yourself and for Mr. Hadley, because Councillor Hawkins has withdrawn his nomination that was seconded by Councillor Perks.
Okay, so I don't know how you want to run this, Mark, whether you want to do them one at a time or whether you want to do them both together. Whatever is simpler for you.
I'll take your lead, Chair, but we can do it individually if you want first. We'll start with Councillor Shirley Hodges.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, committee, so my colleague Mark will shortly start the vote. So we are taking the first nomination.
Councillor Perry wants to come in.
Councillor Perry.
Hi, yeah. Members of town and community councils are supposed to indicate their opinion to the members of the committee. So if we all vote together, the members of town and community councils don't get opportunity to influence the members of the committee because the committee is voted before you see our votes.
Councillor Perry, I actually agree with that stance. That's normal. That is what normally happens.
Yeah.
But the indicator could be an unofficial vote. So it could be just, I don't know if we can do this, Mark, because Mark's on the call, and Amy, maybe you can discuss this with Mark just briefly about.
We are able to do that individually if you wish. But obviously the town and community council's votes would be collectively verified alongside those of the elected member. So you would be able to see the clear outcome of how they wish to vote based on the majority. But we can take the votes individually if you wish. That's your choice, Chair.
Okay, so can I just verify at this point, is it still only Vale councillors' votes that count?
Yes.
Right. So the town and community councillors can vote, but it is only the Vale councillors' votes that count.
That's correct.
Okay. Right. So what is standard practice in these proceedings?
Well, what we would usually do is do a single vote. So everybody in the meeting would vote at the same time, and then the democratic officer would monitor the votes that were given by the Vale of Glamorgan elected members, and providing that that obviously was reflective of the overall vote and that that was a majority for, and then that would then be carried. But we can, if you would, take a separate town and community councillor vote and then do a separate elected member vote, but only the elected member vote would carry.
That doesn't seem a helpful proceedings then.
Councillor Cave wants to come in.
Does she? Okay, Councillor Cave.
Sorry, Chair, just a point of clarification here. I think what we've done in the past is we've all been sitting in one room, and we would have asked the town and community councillors what they felt, and then as elected members who carry a vote, we would then be able to vote having seen what the town and community council's preferences are. And I know it seems strange under these circumstances to ask somebody to vote and then it's not going to be carried as a vote, but it gives us as councillors an indication of the feel of what the town and community councillors' views are. Because unless we go around and speak to every one of them at the meeting tonight, we're not really going to have a full understanding of that.
No, okay, I agree. I'm happy to do that. Amy, is it possible to do that, please? To take the town and community council vote first, and then we will take the Vale Council vote afterwards in light of that.
Yes, so if you could give me one moment, Chair, because I need to ask my colleague Mark to remove the voting capability from the elected members in the room and then start the vote. So only the town and community council representatives are voting. So if you could give us 1 moment for that.
Yep, that's fine.
If you could let us know when you're comfortable with that, Mark.
Just to clarify, Amy, I'm going to remove the rights for the Vale of Glamorgan members at this time for the vote.
That's correct, yes. Just the Vale of Glamorgan members at this time, which to my count is 11 members because we have 2 absentees.
Yeah.
So just remove all of the elected member names. Yeah.
Yeah, bear with me, sir.
No problem. Sorry, Chair, just bear with us 1 moment.
Fine.
Right, that's been done, Chair. Just to confirm, when you're happy, I will start the vote.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so just to confirm, Chair, that we are voting for against or abstain for Councillor Shirley Hodges as representative. So for those elected members now, you will should have a no permission to vote message on the right-hand side of your screen. Town and community councillors, you'll be voting for, against or abstain.
The vote has started.
Thank you.
I believe Councillor Summers has put his hand up, Chair.
Yeah, I'm not
Councillor
getting
Summers.
permission to vote. As a community councillor, I would have expected to have permission to vote, and I haven't got it.
That's correct. Could we check the voting rights on that, please, Mark?
Bear with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the same. I've got no permission to vote, and I'm a community town councillor.
Okay, in that case then, Chair, because there's more than one indication, do you mind if I do that via roll call?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so if you could kindly stop that vote for me, Mark. Thank you. So, okay, so I'm going to go through the Town and Community Council representatives, please. So I'm asking for your vote, whether you are for, against or abstain for Shirley Hodges as the representative. So obviously I'm starting with yourself, Councillor Hodges, Shirley Hodges. I assume you're voting for.
For, thank you.
Okay. And Councillor Wilson, please, for Cowbridge and Llanblethian.
Against.
Thank you. Councillor Cuddy, please. Councillor Cuddy. Has he vacated? Oh, no, he is there. Hello, Councillor Cuddy. How are you voting, please?
Abstain.
Thank you. Councillor Malcolm Phillips, please. Councillor Cuddy, if you could come off screen, please. Councillor Phillips, your vote, please.
How do I get off? I don't know how to do it.
Councillor Cuddy, if you press the large activation button in the bottom of the screen. Councillor Phillips, you came onto screen, but I didn't have your vote. If you could press the large activation button, please. Thank you. I can't hear you, I'm afraid. Is your microphone on?
Abstain.
Thank you very much, sir. Councillor Hadley, your vote, please.
Abstain.
Thank you very much. Councillor Pegg, please. Thank you. Councillor Misra, please.
Against.
Thank you. Councillor Shaw, please. Councillor Shaw, I can see you on screen, but I'm not hearing your vote. You're on screen, Councillor Shaw. Is your microphone on, please? I'll come back to Councillor Shaw. Councillor Green, please.
Abstain, please.
Thank you. Councillor Summers?
Against.
Thank you. Councillor Toker?
Against.
Sorry.
Thank you. Councillor Parry?
4.
Thank you very much. Councillor Perry?
Oops. Yeah, having a parry in the Perry, flipping neck. I was on the ball then. Yeah, I'm just going to abstain. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Parry? Oh, sorry, I've done Councillor Parry, haven't I? Sorry, Councillor Hawkins?
Against it.
Thank you. And coming back for final call, please, for Councillor Shaw? We're not hearing you, Councillor Shaw. Could you put your vote into the chat, please, into the chat box? Okay, I'm afraid I'm not getting anything through from Councillor Shaw at the moment, Chair. So are you content with me bringing that to a close?
Or I think you're going to have to. I mean, you have given her the opportunity.
So well, that vote is 2 for, 6 against, and 5 abstentions. So if we now go to the second vote, and obviously it will be the individual with the most for votes that would be carried. So if we go now to the second vote, do you want to do that now, or would you wish the elected members to?
I think the elected members vote now, please. Yeah.
Okay. I'll do it by roll call again, please.
Okay.
So yourself, Chair.
Against.
Councillor Wilson, please.
Against.
Councillor Asprey, please. Councillor Asprey, you're on screen, but we have no visual of yourself or your audio.
Can you explain what's happening now, please? Hang on. Can you explain what's happening now?
I am asking whether you are voting for, against, or abstain for Councillor Shirley Hodges as representative.
Definitely for Councillor Shirley Hodges. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Campbell is not with us, so moving to Councillor Cave, please.
Against.
Thank you. Councillor Gilligan.
Against.
Thank you. Councillor Haynes. Councillor Haynes. Just checking, Chair. It looks like he's vacated. He's no longer in the meeting with us. Councillor Hanks.
4.
Thank you. Councillor Hodges.
4.
Thank you. Councillor Lynch-Wilson.
Against.
Thank you. Councillor Payne is not with us, so Councillor Perks.
Against.
Thank you. And finally, Councillor Rees-Thomas. Just check, Chair. He's vacated. He's no longer in the meeting. So 1, 2, 3.
Councillor Haynes is back on, Chair.
Oh, hello, Councillor Haynes. How are you voting, please?
Right, I'm not even sure what we're voting on at the minute, Amy, because I got kicked out. And,
Okay, so we are voting on the first motion put forward, which is Councillor Shirley Hodges from Barry Town Council for the representative. So I'm asking for your vote for, against, or abstain.
Against, and I understand Rees, as Thomas has already also had problems with the connection. This is not going well. Thank you.
Okay, so he
Okay,
hasn't reported anything to ourselves, Chair, on that. But at the moment, obviously, you do have a majority vote because you have seven votes against and 3 for. So even with Councillor Thomas's vote, you would still have an against majority on that vote.
Okay, thank you. Well, I think we'll leave it there then.
You've got to go to the next candidate now, Chair.
Yes, we can leave that vote there, though. Okay, thank you very much. So now we need to move on to voting for Councillor Carl Hadley from Colwinston Community Council. So do we want, shall we have the community councillors first, please?
Yes, Chair. Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
I will again take them in order. So we're asking for against or abstain for Councillor Carl Hadley from Colwinston Community Council. So Councillor Shirley Hodges, please.
Against.
Thank you. Councillor Wilson, please.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Cuddy.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Hadley.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Phillips, please, on behalf of Dinas Powys.
Yeah, abstain.
Thank you. Councillor Pegg. Thank you. Councillor Misra, who I think has still... Oh, no, he's here with us. Thank you. Councillor Misra. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Shaw. Still no audio for you, I'm afraid, Councillor Shaw, but please do put a note in the chat box. There's the chat box is on the left-hand side of your screen. Councillor Green, please.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Summers.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Toker.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Parry, please.
Against.
Thank you. Councillor Perry, please.
I'm going to abstain again, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Nikki Parry from Selly and Lavernock, please.
Against.
Thank you.
I think Councillor Parry's just voted just before Councillor Perry.
That was Angela Parry. Angela
Okay.
Parry. So sorry, did Nikki Parry come onto screen then?
Yes. Twice.
So Councillor Nikki Parry, did you vote twice then?
Yes, I assumed you hadn't taken the first one.
Yeah, that's fine, no problem. That's okay. So Angela Parry for St Bride's, are they still with us? Let me just check, Chair. Nope, they're not. So they're not with us. So we disregard that. And then finally, Councillor Hawkins, please. Councillor Hawkins.
For, please.
Thank you very much.
For.
Yeah, thank you. That's lovely. Thank you. So that makes 10 for on that vote, Chair, 2 against and 2 abstentions. So that is the Town and Community Council vote.
Okay, thank you very much. Can we move on to the Vale vote now then, please?
Yes, absolutely. Starting with yourself, please, Chair.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Wilson.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Asprey. Councillor Asprey.
Against.
Thank you. Councillor Cave, please.
4.
Thank you. Councillor Gilligan.
4.
Thank you. Councillor Haynes.
4.
Thank you. Councillor Hanks.
Against.
Thank you. Councillor Hodges, please.
Against.
Thank you. Councillor Lynch-Wilson.
4.
Thank you. Councillor Perks, please. Unless she's no longer with us. Let me just check. Oh, no, there she is. Yeah.
4.
Thank you, Councillor Perks. And final vote would be Councillor Rees-Thomas, Chair. I'm just checking, but I don't think he has joined. He's vacated the meeting. That's correct. So that, by my count, Chair, that's 7 for and 3 against. So out of your 2 nominations, the vote for Councillor Carl Hadley is carried with a majority of 4 votes for 7 against 3.
Lovely. Thank you very much for your help on that. Right, complex. More complex than I'd anticipated. Okay, I've got a couple of things I'd like to add to the discussion about this. What I would like us to do in future is for, if possible, the delegate to the Public Service Board to share the agendas in advance, possibly to other councils, so we can see what's going to be discussed and could possibly put comments in. And for Councillor Hadley, in this case, to come back and tell us exactly what happened at the Public Service Board. It feels like a bit of an unknowable quantity at the moment. We know it happens. We don't always find out exactly what happened and how, and that's not communicated to us. So I'd be very grateful if that could be the process going forward, so we all feel better informed. I hope that other people are going to agree with me on that. Okay, I don't see anything else on the agenda. Oh, Councillor Cave.
I just wanted to second that. I think that they're 2 excellent suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Whether Councillor Hadley's going to be agreeing with me is another matter. I hope he is. Right, okay. Is there anything else on the agenda? Councillor Hadley?
Happy to agree.
Thank you very much. I look forward to being better informed. So, I've got nothing else on the agenda. Amy, are there any items that have been brought up as urgent? Councillor Perry.
Yeah, if I could just ask, we had 2 very excellent presentations by the emergency services. Perhaps in a future meeting, we might get some from Welsh Ambulance, particularly as a lot of town community councils are working with them over defibrillators, and maybe they might want to come and report to us about how our defibrillators are saving lives, and we can liaise with them as well. That's just a little suggestion from me.
Are you asking for a single report, or are you asking them to attend 4 times a year?
That's entirely up to others. It's not down to me, but that's just a suggestion, something that you could perhaps think about.
Could I approach the service about that, Chair, and find out whether or not that would be feasible for them? Is that okay?
Yes, I think that's a good
and then obviously I can let you know then what they would be able to commit to.
Yes. Okay, and you could feed that back to us at the next meeting. We'd be grateful. Thank you very much. If there's nothing else tonight, thank you to everybody for coming.
No, sorry, Chair. You've got a number of speakers who still want to speak.
Oh, I can't see them. Where are we? Where's the list? Ah, right. Okay, sorry, someone was covering it up. Right, so you have spoken. Councillor Hodges, Councillor Mark Wilson, and then Councillor Mike Cuddy. Councillor Hodges.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Just briefly, I think a general point, can we make sure that if people are nominating people in future, that they actually get the person's agreement first? Thank you.
I don't know that that's a requirement, because you will have been in meetings where people are nominated and haven't had permission, they have that person's permission first. It's happened all sorts of times.
I think it helps, though, Chair.
I would agree that it helps, but I don't think I could make it a hard and fast rule. It would certainly help. Thank you. Councillor Wilson.
Yeah, I'm just going to go back to Councillor Perry's point about the ambulance service. I think it's a good one. I think, if we can have maybe a presentation maybe once in a year, that would be fine. And obviously, we just need to set some parameters about what they do and how long they visits, and a bit of stats would be helpful.
Okay, well, Amy's going to find out what's available to us. Thank you. Councillor Cuddy.
Yes, I understood there was going to be a discussion about bus services this evening. Obviously, that isn't the case any longer.
Yes, I was under the impression we were going to have an update from Kyle Phillips about buses. And I think that must be going to take place in the April meeting. Could you give us an indication, please, Amy?
Yes, Chair. So at the previous meeting, it was asked for the bus operators within the area, be invited to attend a future meeting. They haven't been available for this evening, but that is on track for our next meeting in April.
Right. Okay.
And can I just add something else? Having been the Town and Community Council representative on the PSB a few years ago, a few administrations ago, really, I think there's a need for us both to consider how we can actually engage the community councils better. I know you suggested that and this is fairly unique probably in Wales in terms of trying to facilitate councils. There's a sub-meeting dealing with that, but that's usually very poorly attended. I noticed that the well-being plan, our well-being plan this year, has a number of priorities and priority groups. And I just wonder whether representatives from the town and community council sector could be invited to those. There are 3 of them. I mean, Tom will know what they are.
Of the Public Service Board?
Yeah. You have 3 priority themes discussing the fine detail of derived from the objectives. If you look in the wellbeing plan, you'll find a maze of columns to tick and agree or not. And it seems a shame that there isn't a greater engagement, because I think the council chosen to be on it will be find it difficult to see how we would fit in to the complex of the Public Service Board actions. The statutory members, there is no budget. There's no extra budget. Statutory members come, I think, with obviously the ability to via their budgets into the work the Public Service Board does. But others on the panel or on the board, will find it very difficult to join in that sort of conversation. But in terms of the detail, it's certainly engagement of their local communities in the work. It would be more valuable, better done than it is done already. One through that sub call off to talk to the town and community council representatives, which is poorly attended, and the whole well-being plan, which is what this goes for, is hardly recognised amongst the communities of the Vale. I think although lots of resources are expended to do it. So my suggestion is that the staff try and think of a bit better way of facilitating the engagement of the town and community councils, especially in relation to those priorities which are described in the wellbeing plan at the moment.
Okay, thank you. Well, we can certainly ask Tom if he could approach the PSB and ask if that were to be possible.
Yeah.
And you're happy to do that?
Absolutely, and Councillor Cuddy is right. The exchange meetings are a really important vehicle, and I know that those town and community councils who've attended those previously to talk about some of the climate change and nature emergency aspects of the PSB's work, and also the age-friendly work. That's borne some fruit. In terms of that tackling deprivation piece, I think Councillor Cuddy's point is a really valid one, and I'll certainly make sure that we engage with the local members within marriage, make sure they're fully engaged in that work. So yeah, thank you for the suggestions, and happy to see that.
Can I come back on that? I mean,
Yes.
I don't have the wellbeing plan in front of me, but there are lots and lots of actions. I also sit, as you described, on the climate and assets sort of subgroup. Yeah. So I was expecting, if I'm wrong, I don't know, but there are these 3 priority groups, and they aren't the ones you describe. They relate to the objectives.
Tom?
Yeah, Councillor Cuddy is right that there are 3 wellbeing objectives within the PSB's plan, and then 3 priority work streams that are being given particular prominence, and those are the work around climate and nature, age-friendly, and then tackling areas of deprivation. They're the 3 priorities, and we're grateful for Councillor Cuddy's contribution to that subgroup around climate and nature, certainly. And what I'll do is make sure that the next exchange meeting with PSB and Town and Community Council colleagues can maybe explore the plan again, because I'm conscious that maybe it's a little bit of time since we've run through the whole plan, and actually then ask Town and Community Councils which particular aspects that they maybe would like to explore in more detail, because that's the purpose of those exchange meetings. And very much welcome, the views of.
Okay, yeah. Thanks for that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. If anyone has got any other points to make? No? Okay, thank you very much for your contributions tonight, people. Good night.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.